What else you want to play? I love your playing. I could sit here all day.
He also plays the top, right?
Huh?
He plays the top, right?
Top? Okay.
Yeah, okay, play the top.
Play it.
Wow! That's amazing. Would you like to come to Miami in the summer? You go to Miami? You will have so much fun. Huh? The people will love you, you know? Beautiful, Gilbert.
I really like it.
Oh, I love things. How long is he taking lessons? That's it?
Yeah, he likes it.
32 minutes you play? How much you practice?
A day?
A day.
Probably 2 to 3 hours.
But he does it because he loves the piano, right? Or do you
Well,
like
half,
it?
half.
But you like the piano? You like to play the piano? But you see when you play the piano, everybody says, wow! Huh? Amazing music. So what else you know how to play? Is that all your repertoire?
Yes.
Not today. That was very good. I'm going to work with him.
Yeah, well, no, I don't think it's nice.
Oh, he didn't sign up. That was great. I'm so happy I heard you, Gilbert. You're going to be amazing. So natural. Congratulations, my love. Anybody else has any questions? I mean, this is
Questions?
any that's amazing. Congratulations to you. Yes.
And you song, do you get it like your hands together or you separate?
Always hand together. Always hands together. I do not believe in practicing hands separate. Only if you have a doubt about a passage. You see, if you practice hands separate, it's like the brain is learning two different things. You need to put the hands together right away because both parts of the brain need to work together and they complement each other. And actually, it's a lot easier to play when you practice the hands together. Also, if you choose a finger, if you practice one hand, you say, oh, this finger is very comfortable in the right hand. Maybe if you would put it with the left hand, it's not going to work. So, because you see that the hands work in opposites. This part of the brain controls this part of the brain controls that. So it's very, very important to work like an orchestra, the whole thing together, from day one. And I really feel that you have to learn the piece well from the beginning and memorize it immediately. Absolutely immediately. Do not, make sure that you do not learn the piece by repetition. A lot of people play and play and play, and then what happens is the kinetic memory, the muscle memory is the only one that works, but this one is not working. So you have to really carefully study, listen. You have to listen with your ears. You have to feel it with your body, and you have to memorize it immediately. And you have to connect all the dots, and the whole score has to make sense, and you will never have a memory lapse. If you have a memory lapse, you forget a chord, it's because there is something that's not here. So you have to, that's really, I encourage people to really memorize immediately as they are learning the song, not at the end. Does that answer your question? Yes. Yes, sure.
Jessie, two of you come. Jessie and Sophie, come.
Jessie and Sophie. Who's
Come,
Jessie
come,
and
come,
Sophie?
come, quickly.
Jessie and Sophie, come. Come here. You know that I also have in my family two sets of twins. My son has a boy and a girl, and my daughter has two boys. They're twins. Are they identical? No.
Yeah.
But they're identical or fraternal? Fraternal, yeah, like my kids. You love each other very much. Are you very close? Your best friend, your sister?
Well, they fight, so they play the forehands.
How old are they?
8, right? Are you 8? 8. 8.
8. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
I
Anybody else who wants to play? Emily, you want to play something?
你们曲子在身上吗？谱子在身上吗？
Wow! Wow! How old are you? 9? want. I think that maybe we should have one more performance. Yeah.
You want the Chopin or the Haydn?
No, the Haydn.
Play the Haydn.
No. She came to the academy. Emily came to the academy in July, and when I heard her today, I just could not believe the difference. It was like night and day, really.
I
totally in like 2 or 3 levels below, really. It was just
much more. It was like
much more. It
4
was just-
levels.
But she was in the academy from morning to night with her grandmother. From when we opened, she was practicing in the morning. In the afternoon, she was in the master classes. She was on the demonstrations. She was up until 10 o'clock at night, attending all the concerts. And then that's what happens, you know. Her ears just. She was immersed in this most incredible environment with great pianists from all over the world, you know. And that's the result. You know, that's what happens. Very proud of you, Emily.
Thank you.
Very, very proud. So I just hope that all of you will come to Miami. We'll have a good time. It's wonderful, really. And congratulations to all of you. You're just, the parents are, I think, even have to be commended more than the kids, because without the parents, you need really, this is a teacher cannot do it alone. The teacher has to have a partner in the parents. The parents have to supervise the practice if you really want to see a progress. A parent cannot just leave a kid with a teacher and it's like many people do it as a babysitting service, you know? Or they do it as, it's not another activity. You know, today parents clutter the kids with a lot of activities, karate, and drawing, and the soccer, and polo, and the baseball. I mean, these two kids, but then they don't focus on anything really enough, you know. And the music is very, very important, and that's why I think that the success of kids. I mean, these kids wouldn't be playing if it was not for the grandparents or the parents that supervise the practice. They need to practice, you know. I had a child prodigy that came to our festival. His name is Keith Armstrong. He came. I discovered him when he was 8 years old, and I brought him to my festival when he was 10. He finished high school at the age of 9, and he went into the university at the age of 9. He went to England, and he was in the Imperial College. He was studying composition with a teacher, piano with another teacher, and he was studying geometry and advanced math in the Imperial College. And it was just, and I used to ask him how much he would practice, and he practiced 3 hours, about 3 hours, no more than that, because he was doing so many other things. He was a composer also. Today he's in his 20s. He already finished La Sorbonne at the age of 18. You know, he graduated, I think, with 2 or 3 degrees. And the funny thing is that he was not interested really in a big career. He does a lot of chamber music. He met a very famous pianist. His name was Alfred Brender, who took care of his career. There was actually a documentary about him. And he bought a church. Do you know the story?
Yeah.
He bought a church in France, no? Is it in France?
I thought it was in London.
I don't know where it is. He bought a church, and he has his own piano series, and he does projects, and he does, you know, it's a very interesting story. And I remember when he was 10 years old, he came to play, and we had 2 pianos on stage. And he came and he said to me, Giselle, can I choose the piano? And I said, no, you cannot choose the piano. You have to play on that one. He looked at me. He says, well, I had to change my program. And I said, why do you have to change your program? He says, because what I want to play is not going to work on that piano. It could work on that piano. I said, well, that piano is not going to be yours, so you have to play. So he changed the program. He was going to play a piece by Debussy called Ondine, but he said that the piano was not good enough for that. So he played La Leggerezza by he was 10 years old. And he played also a Beethoven Sonata, The Tempest, which, I mean, we were on the floor. We just could not believe that was possible. You know, he was like 9, something like that, 10. And then he came back when he was 13. And he stayed in my house, and he was just playing, not his program, he was playing Bach, Preludes and Fugues, Liszt, things. So I said to him, Kid, why aren't you practicing your program? He says, because before a concert, I never practice my program. Because I want to sit at the piano, and it's like I never played it before. Fresh. And I was worried because, you know, he didn't touch other things, you know. He was at the computer all the time playing games because he has his own, he created games. I mean, and the mother kept calling me, he says, keep practicing. I said, not really, you know. He's at the computer until 3 o'clock in the morning. And then the day of the concert, he came, he tried the piano 2 minutes, and he sat down and played, and the whole audience was crying. We just could not believe that was possible. 13 years old. he just sat down and it was like the music was coming from God because it was just something not real, you know. That somebody so young to play like that, you know. So, and well, when I discovered Sijin, I discovered her when she was 11. I heard a recording of her playing the Chopin Etudes at the age of 11, and my jaw was on the floor. I just could not believe that was even possible. And I went to Beijing, and I interviewed her there. And I went to Hong Kong to interview also others, Rachel and Aristo. And I remember when I listened to her, I mean, there was something also from another planet, you know, something so special. So I made it my business to bring her to America. And she came to America. She was 13 years old, and she played in my festival. A couple of concerts, she played with the orchestra, the Chopin Concerto at the age of 13. And every school in the country wanted her. They were fighting over her, really, I swear to you. They were fighting, and then I wanted her to study in Juilliard because a friend of mine was teaching there. And I told him, if she studies in Juilliard, she has to have an apartment, a piano, private high school. I said, because in Curtis, that's what they offered her. I said, if you want her, fine. I said, you have to come up with the money. Because they don't do that in Juilliard. They only give you an academic scholarship. There is no such thing as paying for giving you an apartment with a piano. There is no such thing. And she came to play for a man, his name is Kovner. I remember they called me and said she needed to play for this man who was very wealthy. And she went from Miami to play for him. And the man said to the teacher, just send me the bills. I want her in Juilliard. Just send me the bills. And he paid for everything. And since Sijin left, now there is a thing in Juilliard called the Kovner Scholarship. She was the first recipient of that scholarship, and now the Kovner Scholarship exists for people that are of exceptional ability, you know. And so all I can say is that you guys are very lucky, very fortunate to have someone like her who's just very creative, very brilliant. I remember she fell in love with a piece of one of my pianos. It was very hard. And she said, Giselle, you have the music of Grand Galop Chromatique by Liszt. And I said, no, but I will print the music. I printed the music. She sat on the piano. She read the piece, read it for the first time in her life. And half an hour later, she was playing it at full speed with perfection. I was working at my computer and I said, what is this? I thought I was listening to the recording of my artist. When I came out into the living room, it was her. She was already playing the piece. I said, how is that possible? You know, it was just like crazy. You know? So she's, I know that this academy is going to become something very big because she is big. Because she's an amazing musician. And she's an amazing teacher, and she has the right ideas as how to educate the kids based on her own experience. You know? So I think that I want to hear everybody. I want to hear a lot of progress, like the ones I heard from Emily. So I want to hear Eric, right? Eric, and I want to hear you, and I want to hear you, and I want to hear everybody, and you and Gilbert. I want to hear you again. You were so good. Okay, thank you so much. Do you have any other questions?
Thank you, Giselle.
No questions?
Thank you so much.
I always say that you need a good teacher is the one that puts the student in touch with himself. Is the one that really, I think that gifted children come already with information to this world. And a good teacher just puts you in touch with that information. And the gifted kid just recognizes the information, and that's why they can progress so much. You know, so that's really what a good teacher is not the one that you become his slave, or he becomes your dictator, or becomes the owner of your life. A good teacher is the one that gives you the wings to think and the wings to grow. And it doesn't matter if you are 17, or if you are 7 years old, or if you are 9 years old. I think that you have, I treat when I teach my students, I teach and I speak the same language to a 7-year-old, and to a 17-year-old, and to 30-year-old is the same language. It's the same things, you know. I sound like a broken record sometimes. Yeah. But it's the same things, and, you know, and then once you understand that, you have wings to fly. You know. So thank you so much for coming. Oh, my pleasure. So I guess I will see some of you tomorrow, and some of you on
Oh, you're gonna
Tuesday.
see all of them tomorrow evening for the concert.
Oh, okay, okay.
None of them can skip.
Okay, it's mandatory.
Mandatory, exactly.
I like that. I think it should be.